Votes.
Thank you. Item number 5, the cost allocation plan. Turn the time over to Don Merchant.
What's a meeting?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is bringing back information on the cost allocation plan for the police department. As you recall, I brought a report on January 10th, and council did give the direction that they would like to see the citywide administration costs pulled out of the calculation for Measure C. As we are beginning to put everything together for the budget, we're bringing this back just to demonstrate how it is in the budget now and how it could potentially be, and get some direction from council on how they would like it presented. That way it can be incorporated into the budget that will be coming to council beginning in May. So on the back page of the staff report, there's Table A, and this is Police Department Measure C funding. This is the chart that goes into the actual budget document where it shows the 13-14 baseline budget that is established for the police department, and this is the 13-14 budget as it stood, without the inclusion of Measure C. So this is without Measure C monies. It was $28,447,271. So for fiscal year 17, Measure C revenues are budgeted at $6,221,185, and there's a carryover of unspent funds from prior year of $4,351,967. This brings the total of Measure C monies available between prior year and the current year projected to $10,573,152. So the total budget allotment, according to this table, is $39,020,423 to the police department. Total budgeted expenditures are $39,108,380. This is slightly over that budget allotment of $87,957, which then just comes from other general fund resources, non-Measure C. And in the above table, the 13-14 baseline budget includes $1,887,267 of budgeted citywide administration. So that's what it was in the 13-14 budget. The fiscal year 2017 police budget, that $39 million figure, includes $2,872,656 of budgeted citywide administration. The first $28 million of general fund non-Measure C expenditures, that's in that Table A, that occur each fiscal year include the first $1,887,267 that was budgeted in that year for citywide administration. And council could consider the increase in the cost above the baseline year to be added to the general fund portion as well, so that there's no question if anything over the total baseline budget includes the increase in citywide administration or not. An alternative scenario is to back out of the budget from both the baseline and the budgeted expenditures on the above table. Table B on this same page then shows what the revised table would look like. So the 13-14 baseline budget, and I put next to the revised, by backing out the 1.887 would be $26,560,004. And then again, you have the same Measure C budgeted and Measure C carryover totaling the $10.5 million. So that gives a new budget allotment of $37,133,156. As you can see on this table, budgeted expenditures, there's the $39.1 million. But then if we back out the citywide administration line item, that's the $2,872,656. That brings it to a net police budget to be accounted for in this Measure C equation of $36,235,724. And then the difference under the budget allotment, instead of being over, is $897,432, which in this case would be a Measure C carryover. In either scenario presented here, citywide administration is still charged to the police department, but it's paid from other general fund resources. So we're just asking for further direction on how council would like to present the Measure C funding table so that we make sure it's incorporated into the budget the way council desires. So with that, I turn it over to council for any questions and then direction.
Yes, as I look at Table A and Table B, To me, table A is easier to understand. The question that I have from the standpoint of, basically what makes up the $900,000 difference in A versus B?
So the $900,000 difference ends up being the increase in the citywide administration from the base year to what it is currently. So it's approximately it's the difference between the 1.88 and then the 2.8, and then you take into account how it was over before. So it's kind of the difference of those three figures. So it's still going to be the citywide administration, as I said, it's still going to be a cost to the police department. What this action would do, if you did change it to example for table B, it's just that there's no perception that it could be part of the amount over the 28 million that's accounted for in Measure C. It's just paid out of other general fund sources, but it's still a police department expense.
Yeah, what I was asking for with this was, number one, for us, as it says here, to make sure that citywide administration is not coming out of Measure C. Both of these do that. The other thing that I would like to see as we go forward is to actually line item Measure C funds, showing the public exactly what we're getting out of those funds. Whether it's the 22 new police officers, code enforcement, those things, so that it's very easy for our oversight committee to be able to look at the $6 million and see what's being spent and see what we're getting for that.
Well, the one thing that is difficult with that is because the police department budget is so huge, $39 million, we establish the base because then we say you have $10.57 million available to you. And because it's more, it's also outfitting uniform for those, it's ammunition, it's purchasing a vehicle, it's the supervision of those officers. It's very difficult to line item by line item to say, this box of ammunition was for this officer that we're going to say is Measure C, for example. So that's why we have the funding table this way. But I will tell you, for the Measure C committee, when we do meet, they get a detailed general ledger report of all the line item expenditures within the police department. They get this table updated for year-to-date expenditures. So they do see the line items. It's just that you couldn't specifically say, for example, like I said, this box of bullets is Measure C and this one isn't. It's very difficult with the size of this budget and the fact that Measure C funds, it goes into the general fund because it is a general fund measure. It's just been directed by City Council that it go towards police and code enforcement services.
Yes, Councilmember Tiscarino.
In the same tone, if you did happen to be able to have the ability to line item everything for Measure C versus the general fund from the police force, you still have to count for all costs on Measure C for each individual police officer and equipment, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. So that would actually still include the administrative costs.
It is.
Yeah, so you're defeating the purpose of this. In my mind, that's the way I'm seeing it, because you would have to include it. And what we're trying to do here is trying to exclude it right now, so we can make it, to me, it's a perception thing, where you're removing the administrative costs up in Measure C and putting it into the general fund so we can hopefully, entice folks to extend it. That's how I'm getting this. But if you're going to line item everything, then you're actually including every cost, which includes administrative fee. Am I incorrect in this? Or?
Well, an administrative fee is definitely a cost of the police department. However, the direction we've been given is that, by this council is not to include it. So that's what we're trying to do.
No, then, and again, that's my thinking is, can the administrative costs be excluded if you did line item everything?
If we were able to line item, then the citywide administration is a line item cost. That's how we know how much is budgeted. So,
and that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I just have a quick question.
Councilmember Thorpe.
So the administration fee, I thought the administration fee, funded like human service. Human resources, like your department.
Yes.
So we're not necessarily talking about guns and bullets.
No, but
that is. I'm not sure that.
Police officers.
Through the mayor, if I might just simplify, what Ms. Merchant was talking about first was the administrative fee, but then when you start talking about trying to track line items of what's bought with this Measure C dollar versus this non-Measure C dollar, it really just becomes an almost impossible exercise. It's not real, because which dollar in your budget, pays your rent, and which dollar in your budget pays your electrical bill. They're both, there's, all those dollars you make go in your household budget, and you have your expenses. So it's kind of, you'd almost have to say, Measure C money is only going to pay for certain things. Whereas the original direction from the council is, we're going to take this Measure C money and we're going to put it on top of what's already there, and the police are going to use it for whatever they need to use it for, and then any money that is not expended in the police budget is assumed to be Measure C money and carried forward. And so that's the approach that's been for the last few years. I don't think it's not real to try to say that it paid for this pencil or that bullet or this officer or that CSO. It just becomes sort of a game.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I'm not asking for the line item. I just want to be clear that I understand what the citywide admin fee is for, and it helps fund city hall services.
Correct.
Not necessarily guns, bullets,
Correct.
Police cars. So it's not. I don't think it's accurate to say that if you start line iteming these things, we're back at, well, it's not for city administration. Well, there may be police administration cost, which is what Measure C was intended for, and things associated with the police department, not necessarily for citywide admin funds that help fuel and fund city hall operations. Am I correct, or am I?
It's a different type of administration. It's not the
Okay,
sergeant
so-
overseeing a patrol
Exactly.
officer,
So
for
let's
example.
not those are
But
two different things.
it's an administration. It is administration of the police department. It's just a different
Right.
venue of administration.
So when I think when citizens passed Measure C, their understanding was that we're helping, hire new police officers, we're helping fund the police department, whether it's to hire, whether it's to have a police sergeant, whether it's to have a bullet, whether it's to have, a secretary at the police department. That seems like Measure C funds should be used for that. It wasn't with the understanding that it should go towards things that are going on here in City Hall. That was my understanding, unless I'm misunderstanding what the back and forth has been.
Councilmember Ciscarino.
No, I do understand but my understanding of Measure C was to hire so many police officers, right? And that money from Measure C is to pay those police officers as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's administrative costs related to doing their payrolls and things like that. So it is part of Measure C. If you're funding a police officer, that we do see administrative costs, and if we got to remove that, that's part of your line item. I think request is you have to not only account for each bullet, each little thing, but also each wage for each individual officer that was hired through Measure C, I would think.
Right, and I see your point too, but we're going in the direction whatever council sees. I mean, because in that same vein, Human Resources does the hiring of that officer, and that's what's in that citywide administration cost, is Human Resources doing that. So its administration is just in a different vein than direct supervision or overseeing. So, but we're going with council's direction on this, so.
That's where I was coming from. Right.
Councilmember Orchard.
Okay, this may be a silly question, but could the citywide admin fee be under that 39 million for the police officers? So it's actually its own line item, so you see what the citywide admin fee is for that? Could that be shown there?
What do you mean? I'm a little
Well,
confused.
I mean, the citywide admin fee is how much? It's,
$2,872,656 is what's budgeted for the
If you
current
look at
fiscal
Table
year.
B, that's what she's done.
39.
So on Table B, it's
okay, I
separate
see it
out.
down there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's, I mean, everybody's asking for transparency, so when you see it, and I'm sorry, I was looking at A, when you see it in B, it does show the line item there, and it does show a difference under budget, which that $897 and $432, is going to come out of general fund.
Right.
So, but it's actually showing what the citywide admin fee. So, if that's what the council is wishing for it just to show, I think personally B would be the better table.
Yeah, I like B.
I don't have a problem with B. If that's the case, do we have a motion?
Okay, so I will make the motion that city council provide further direction. So the direction would be table B.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second with Councilmember Thorpe. Please cast your votes.
There are 5 affirmative votes.